two, let's go.
All right. I'll repeat it.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of super sharp people on my list. Some people I haven't talked to in a long time, though. I'm like, how am I going to call them up or contact them without being weird? Right? No one wants to be weird, right? Your
Nope.
friends think you're like, what's their deal? All right. So I'm going to call Ivan. I'm like, hey, Ivan, how are you? He's like, Steve, what's going on, man? It's like, hey, Ivan, look, it's been way too long since we've talked, and I would love to catch up, but calling for a specific reason. Okay. If I don't do that, if I just make idle chit chat, it gets weird because he knows I'm calling for some reason, right? He's like, I wonder when he's going to get to it, right? That's just weird, right? But if right up front, I'm like, hey, man, I'm calling for a specific reason. He's like, okay, cool. Look, I recently started a business that I'm very excited about. I'm very excited about what it's doing for other people. And I think it's a great opportunity. And honestly, one of the things I like best about this business is I actually get to choose who I go into business with. A lot of times you have a job and you don't get to pick your work family. You're like, I hope these people are cool and not a bunch of crazy people, right? But with this business, I actually get to choose who I go into business with and spend a lot of time with. And when I thought of who I'd love to spend more time with, I thought about you. Ivan, you're always so positive. You've got great business skills, incredible leadership skills, and just a lot of integrity. And look, man, I have no idea if what I'm doing right now would interest you at all, or if you'd really qualify for it. But I thought you might at least like the opportunity to decide for yourself and check it out. That makes sense so far? I was like,
Yep.
cool. Right. So, side note, um, one of my goals in recruiting is I want to make sure that I'm easy to say no to. I'll repeat that. The easier I am to say no to, the more likely someone is to say yes. You follow me?
Yep.
Right. So Ivan's like, of course. Well, what is it? I'm like, look, I'll just give you a super simple explanation because there's a short video that will explain it much better. But you know what turmeric is, right? He goes, well, of course. Everyone says you should be taking it. Yes, of course. Awesome. Well, this is a turmeric product with a German technology that makes it 18,000% more bioavailable. The results are like stunning, like freak you out stunning. And it's super easy to sell. He's like, okay, cool. Look, what I'd like to do is this because I want to respect your time. I'm going to send you a couple links. There's going to be a very short video, about 3 minutes, telling you about the technology, and then just some stories. And I might add you to a Facebook testimonial group, and check it out. And look, tell you what, I'll call you tomorrow, and you tell me what you think. Okay, but Ivan, before I send this, here's something super important. Okay, I want to make sure that you know that our friendship and relationship is much more important than any product or business. Okay. So if you look at the information I give you and you're not interested, please tell me as quickly as possible. Right. I don't ever want you to look at my name on caller ID and wonder what I'm trying to sell you on now. Okay. Does that make sense? Right.
Yep.
Is that a comfortable conversation you could have with people? Who likes
Yep.
that? Right. Even if he isn't interested, he's going to thank me for thinking of him, right? So here, my prospect says no, but I don't have a problem picking up the phone again. Why? Because it wasn't a painful experience for me. Okay. Right? Like, if he's like, oh, what are you trying to sell me on? Is this one of those network markets? If he just is very negative, right? It takes me time to recover from that, right? I'm like, take me 3 days before I pick up the phone again, right? Look, we can't ask you to do something that's so far outside your comfort zone and so painful and ask you to do it over and over and over again and build a business. This is not like no one does this long term. Does that make sense? Right? But if it's something inside your comfort zone that you have fun with, awesome. So I'm going to give you another story. Who finds the stories I tell about recruiting helpful? Can you remember it easier? Anybody?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm gonna tell you a story about my mom. Now, my mom, she beat terminal cancer well over 40 years ago. She loves health. She loves helping people. And she is a sneaky, really sneaky good recruiter. So I'm going to tell you a story. We live in Colorado. She walks into a carpet store and she's just talking with the person at the carpet store. Okay. And the person, she asked the person, hey, do the toxins from the carpet ever bother you? Right? She wants to start a conversation with her. Okay. The woman goes, oh, yes, they definitely do. Um, I've got all sorts of health issues now and I've gained like 70 pounds. My mom goes, oh, have you ever heard of glyconutrients? The woman goes, no, I've never heard of that. My mom goes, have you ever heard of a company called Manatech? The woman goes, no, I haven't. My mom goes, oh my, we should talk about it sometime. The woman says, is it a network marketing opportunity? My mom says, in fact, it is. How do you feel about that? The woman goes, I'm looking for something. She goes, great. Come over, have dinner sometime. Right now, most of you would have vomited information over this poor woman immediately and sat there for an hour telling her about uh, muscle solubilization and PubMed studies and blah, 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 right? I mean, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but some of you are giggling in a very uncomfortable way that you've been doing that, right? So my mom didn't do that. The woman comes over to her house. They have dinner. They don't talk about the business at all. They're just hanging out, getting to know each other. Finally, at the end of the dinner, the woman's like, okay, are you going to tell me about this or not? Now, that woman ended up putting 700 people into my business. So can you see the confidence, the creating a safe space for someone to talk to, ask you questions about it? Does that make sense? Right? It it I've always found this, and I don't really learn this lesson very well. I'm like, oh, I have to work on my business, so I'm gonna stay at home and I should pick up the phone, and then I don't, and I get frustrated myself, and am I the only person who does this? Beats myself up for not working on my business? It's just me. Okay. What I've found over the years is I have to go, okay, take a break. Let's leave the house. Let's go meet some people. Okay. This is always often how I've built my business until I got really good at Facebook, right? So if you're not really good at Facebook, you're going to have to pick up the phone or you're going to have to go meet some new people. Okay. I'll give you another story. Who likes the stories? Who wants another story that you can understand how this actually works? Awesome. So one Sunday, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Reading. We have a beautiful river not too far from our house, and there's this coffee shop down by the river. It's really nice. I said to my wife, I go, we should go hang out at that coffee shop down by the river. She's like, okay. So we're down there, and this woman, these people next to us, they're talking about travel, right? And a friend of theirs comes and sits down with them, and their friend has a dog, and I love dogs. I start petting the dog. I start talking to them, and we start talking about travel, right? Now, my goal, I want someone to ask me, I want you to ask me what I do for work or business, okay? Because then you're coming to me and you think it's your idea to ask me about the business. So you're comfortable. Everyone following me so far? Right?
Yeah.
This is what I'm looking for. So I'm asking, we're talking about travel and different things. I'm going, where do you want to go? And I mentioned, because we've been traveling a lot with Vivify, mention all the different places we've been traveling lately. And I go, for business. I got to tease that out there, right? For business. So she goes, what kind of business do you have? Aha, that's what I'm looking for, right? I'm like, yes, that's what I want. Yeah. So I say to her, I go, I will show you. Now, all of you have asked many people, meet them, well, what do you do for work or this? And no one has ever told you, let me show you, ever. I guarantee it. Am I right?
Yep.
So when I say, I'll show you, do I have her attention?
Yep.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I have her attention, right? So I go, I'll show you. So on my phone, in my photo gallery, okay, I have a particular folder on my photo gallery with Vidify pictures. So I open it up. What do? I don't say anything. I just show her pictures. Does that make sense? She's like, wow, what is that? Amazing. That's crazy. I just like I'm capturing her attention. Does that make sense? She's like, what is it? I say, do you know what turmeric is? She goes, yes. Now, by the way, side note, sales technique, I want the person I'm trying to recruit, I want them to say yes multiple times. Yes, yes, right? I go, you know, you should be taking it, right? She goes, yes. I go, well, this one has a German technology, um, makes it 18,000% more bioavailable. The results are crazy, and it's an inexpensive product. He's like, how do I get more information? I go, I stop looking at her. I just look at my phone and I don't look back at her. I go, what is your cell phone number? I will text you some links. So she gives me your cell phone number. What do I type in there? I type in vidifyresults.com. I type in vidifystories.com and I put in my personal website. Okay. If you're in Saga, now this is before Saga. If you're in Saga, there are links you can copy and paste to send her for business or product. Okay. So I go, and now I have her phone number. I have her name. I ask her what kind of results she might be interested in. I know all that, right? Well, what happens now? I've maybe used 30 words in talking to her. Okay, maybe 30 words. The next morning, I get a phone call fairly early, like 7:30 in the morning. She goes, "I'm in. I want to do the $1,000 kit."
Yep.
Right? Why? Because the tool had done all the work for her, right? And in interacting with her, there's 4 questions that your prospects ask themselves. Everybody say 4 questions. Hold up 4 fingers. 4 questions, right? Number one, they're asking themselves, can I do what you just did? Did I do anything difficult? Absolutely not. Showed some pictures, texted her a link. Everyone's like, well, that's easy. So number one, can I do what you're doing? Okay, cool. Number two, everyone's busy. She want to know, do I have the time to do what I just saw you do? Absolutely. 35 words, and I texted her something. No time involved, right? Number three, would I get help? Now, here's what you have to demonstrate to people. Someone asks you questions, go, I don't know. Let me have my business partner answer it. Or we can put that in the group, or here's a video, right? You want to demonstrate to them that they don't have to have some high level of training before they go on with the business, that they could go into the business with a certain level of ignorance and still succeed, right? And number four, they're going to ask, would I do what you're doing to me, to my friends and family? In other words, was it comfortable? Like, were you nice to me? Were you pushy? Were you rude? Does that make right? It's like, oh, well, I could see myself doing this to my friends, right? Can I do what you're doing? Do I have the time? Would I get help? Would I do what you're doing to me, to my friends and family? Right? Now, keep in mind, there are many ways to build your network marketing business. But in every way you do it, right, you have to think about those 4 things. Okay? Who wants another story?
Yeah.
Everyone liking the story so far? Awesome.
Yep.
The reason I do that is if someone tells me stories, I can see the picture in my mind and I'll remember it forever. Otherwise, people just say things and it goes in one ear and out the other, and people go, "Oh, was the training good?" You're like, "Yeah, it was great. What do you talk about?" No idea.
Yeah.
I'm glad I went. Nice people. I'm like, well, that's a problem, right? So here's another story. There was this gentleman has passed away, but there was a fairly well-known guy in the network marketing business. His name was Mark Yarnell. And Mark built a business by talking to a lot of people. But what he would do is, as his business matured, he would have people come over to his house, okay, to find out about it. He would take a VCR tape and he would stick it into his VCR tape and he would press play, okay? And everyone sitting at his house would watch the TV and they would watch him do a presentation, okay? One month, he's like, hey, how about I actually just do the presentation myself this month instead of using the tape? That's probably more interesting for people, right? Cool. Guess what happened to the amount of people he recruited that month? Did it go or did it go down?
Down.
Down. Down by 80%. What? Why? How many people like to speak in public in front of people? It's like one of the biggest fears out there, right? So people sitting in his living room go, oh, you take a VCR, you put it in, you press play. Check. I can do it. Oh, this other month he's like, oh, you have to be good at public speaking, and you have to have confidence, and you have to memorize this talk, and you have to be this impressive person. Yeah, I'll be your customer, but I can't do what you're doing. See the problem?
Yep.
Right? Who has questions so far on recruiting?
Niet allemaal tegelijk. Questions. Hoe
So here's a
benader je?
question for you. Are you talking to people about Vidify for your benefit or for their benefit?
Their benefit.
That's what you're
Their
saying.
benefit. If you're talking to people about Vidify for their benefit, then you should have already talked to everyone you actually care about,
Yep.
right? So you can tell me, oh, I'm talking to people about Vidify for their benefit. Okay, cool. So have you talked to everyone you care about? No. And there's some part of you that thinks or feels or conveys that you're talking to people about Vidify to build your business. See the difference? Right? So when you change your energy, you can have a lot more fun. You can have a lot more confidence. You can be much more detached from the outcome. See what I mean? Right? Here's what I will tell you, and this took me a long, long, long time to learn. Unsolicited health advice is the least welcome advice in the world. I'll say it again. Unsolicited health advice is the least welcome advice in the world. Right?
Ongevraagd advies. Yeah. Just,
Right. So,
just translating it.
sure.
Unsolicited.
So here's what I've learned to do, okay? I say very little to a whole bunch of people. If I have a conversation with someone and they mention to me some issue they're dealing with that if I would probably help for, I might say to them, hey, I found something that might help you with that. Right? Now, they will either ignore me or they'll say, sure, what is it? Two options, right? What a lot of you will do is you will keep talking to them about Vidify, even though they have not expressed any interest in using it or getting any information. I know maybe none of you are guilty of this, but maybe some other people do this. Okay. Right. So what I'm doing is I'm as fast as possible. I'm going through as many people as possible going, oh, are you looking for what I have? Yes or no? No. Are you looking for what I have? Yes or no? No. Right. So I'm interacting with a lot of people, looking for the person because I care, but a lot of people aren't actually interested in taking personal responsibility for their health, and they're not looking for anything. Does that make sense? So some people will act literally like you never said anything. Other people, literally, I've had conversations like this. Hey, Bob, um, I know of something that might help you. And Bob will go, cool, where do I buy it? Like, what? Like, you don't even know. I haven't even told you what it is. Why? Bob, there's something in Bob that is looking for the solution. Does that make sense? Right? Bob's the person I want to talk to. Okay. Who would like another story? You want another story? Raise your hand. Okay.
Last one.
You understand that it took me a long time to learn all the stuff I'm teaching you. So in the 1994, I'm living in San Francisco, California. And I start selling products for a company called Manitech. Now, at the time, guess what's big in the news and a major thing? AIDS is still a big deal. I'm living in San Francisco, right? There's a lot of potential customers there. I don't know if you know this, right? A lot of research, a lot of organizations. That's all everyone's talking about, right? Well, the product nutritional supplement I'm selling has research showing that it's like 80% success rate with AIDS. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get the whole town on product. Hello. I mean, these people, you want to get better, right? I talked to a lot of people about this, right? Guess how many people actually got to take the product? One person.
Mhm.
He was taking it actually because he wanted to lose some weight. He was HIV positive, but he wanted to look better. So he took the product. While taking the product, his T cell count, which is a measure of how much of the virus in his body, his T cell count went to normal. Now, he's still taking the product today, isn't he? No, he's not. He said, I know I'm going to die of AIDS, so why bother keep taking this product?
Yeah.
Right. So what I learned over the years to be very careful where I invest my time. Does that make sense? Right. It's like all the smartest naturopathic doctors I know, all the top network marketing people I know, all of them, 100% of them have a lot of family members who have no interest in the business or product. Right. So it's like, you gotta, with passion and enthusiasm and confidence, say as little as possible, either through social media or in person, to as many people as possible. Make sure you're having fun. Daily go back to the testimonial group and look at the stories. So okay, here's why I'm doing this. We're going to change the world 10 drops at a time. And allow that enthusiasm to carry you. Have a goal of like, look, if I can help one person change their life, I'm a success. Right? You need to make sure that you feel like what you're doing matters so you can keep going and build a business. Anyways, that's all for today. Was this helpful for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Awesome. Appreciate you all. Look forward to seeing many of you. We'll definitely be there in March, maybe sooner. I don't know. There's potential. So,
Okay, man.
any questions for me?
Great day.
Yes. He was up looking for Tyson. Yeah.
Awesome.
I did the same. Thank you, man.
You bet. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate all of you.
All right. Thank you.